40,000 years ago, a wolf walked toward a human fire and did not run. Nobody called it. Nobody fed it. Nobody trained it. It simply stood at the edge of the light, looked into the flames, and made a decision that would change the course of life on Earth more profoundly than almost any other moment in natural history. That wolf is the reason your dog is asleep at the foot of your bed tonight. But what actually happened in that moment, what the wolf saw, what the human felt, and what ancient force pulled two apex predators toward each other across the dark, is far stranger and far more personal than the story you have been told. Because this is not a story about domestication. It is a story about recognition. Start with what the world looked like 40,000 years ago. You are not modern. You do not have cities, agriculture, or language complex enough to negotiate. You have fire, stone tools, and a nervous system that is already, at this point, essentially identical to the one you carry today. You live in groups of 20 to 50 people. You hunt. You tell stories in the dark. And out there, just beyond the firelight, the wolves are watching. They have been watching for a long time. Wolves are among the most socially intelligent predators ever to evolve on this planet. They live in bonded family groups with complex hierarchies, shared child-rearing, coordinated hunting strategies, and what researchers now believe is a form of genuine emotional attachment between pack members. Dr. Brian Hare at Duke University, one of the world's leading experts on canine cognition, has argued that wolves already possessed nearly every social and cognitive tool required for what came next. They were not waiting to be tamed. They were waiting to find something familiar. And then they found you. Here is what the science now suggests happened. It was not humans who approached wolves. It was wolves who approached humans. Specifically, it was a subset of wolves, the ones whose nervous systems ran slightly calmer, whose threat response was slightly less reactive, whose curiosity was slightly stronger than their fear, that began edging closer to human campsites, not because they were weak, because they were, in a very specific neurological sense, more open. Dr. Adam Boyko at Cornell University, whose research has traced the genetic origins of domestic dogs, has found evidence that the divergence between wolves and dogs may have happened not once, but in multiple locations, independently, suggesting that this convergence between humans and wolves was not a fluke. It was almost inevitable. The conditions were right. Two highly social, highly intelligent, cooperative predators, occupying overlapping ecological niches, both with fire in their eyes. What did those early wolves see in us? The current scientific consensus, built from decades of behavioral research, points to something specific. They saw a hunting pattern they recognized. Humans, like wolves, were persistence hunters, creatures who ran prey to exhaustion over long distances, who coordinated movement across large landscapes, who communicated complex spatial information to one another while on the move. To a wolf, a group of humans on a hunt did not look like prey. It looked like a pack, and packs, to a wolf, are the most important thing in the world. If you have made it this far, you already understand something most people never think to ask. You are not the kind of person who just wants the surface of things. You want to know what is underneath. This channel exists for exactly that. Hit subscribe, and every week you will find something that pulls the floor out from under what you thought you knew about the natural world. Now here is where the story bends into something remarkable. Because the wolves that edged closer to human fires did not just change their own lives. They changed ours. Dr. Pat Shipman, the paleoanthropologist, whose work on the animal connection and human evolution has reshaped how scientists think about our species, argues that the domestication of wolves gave early humans a competitive advantage so significant it may have contributed to the extinction of the Neanderthals. Through capability, a human hunting with a wolf could cover more ground, detect prey at greater distances, and coordinate across terrain too complex for either species to manage alone. The wolf brought its nose, its speed, and its pack instincts. The human brought fire, tools, and the ability to plan across time. Together, they became something neither could be alone. Think about what that means for a moment. The most successful predatory partnership in the history of this planet was not between two animals of the same species. It was between a primate and a wolf. And it worked not because one dominated the other, but because each one recognized something in the other that felt, at a neurological level, like home. Now here is the counterintuitive twist. Most people assume that domestication made wolves, and later dogs, more dependent on humans, softer, less capable. But the research tells a different story. Dr. Brian Hare's comparative studies between wolves and dogs reveal that dogs did not lose intelligence through domestication. They traded one kind of intelligence for another. Wolves are better than dogs at solving problems independently. But dogs are dramatically better than wolves, and better than almost any other animal on Earth, including chimpanzees, at reading human social and communicative cues. Dogs evolved to understand pointing, eye contact, and emotional expression in humans with a sophistication that took chimpanzees, our closest genetic relatives, millions of additional years to partially develop. Dogs did not become dumber when they came in from the cold. They became specialists. They became fluent in us, and here is what that means for you today. Every time your dog follows your gaze across a room, it is using a cognitive ability that was forged over 40,000 years of living inside the human social world. Every time it brings you a toy when you are sad, or rests its head on your knee when you are still, or watches your face for information before it decides how to feel about a stranger. It is performing a form of social intelligence so refined, so specifically calibrated to the human nervous system, that no other creature on Earth can fully match it. The wolf that walked toward the fire made a choice, and every generation that followed, across 40,000 years of winters and migrations and civilizations rising and falling, kept making that same choice. Closer, closer, until the wolf was inside the firelight, until the wolf was inside the house, until the wolf was inside the story of what it means to be human. You did not domesticate the dog. You co-evolved with it, and somewhere in your nervous system, in the same ancient architecture that the first wolves read so carefully at the edge of that fire, something still knows the difference between a world with that animal in it and a world without. The wolf walked toward the fire 40,000 years ago and did not run. And in some way that science is only now beginning to measure, neither did you.